and welcome to what is the current developing set of the podcast. Little mic check for you. So, I have moved back about 4 feet from where I normally film my podcasts, which is at my desk, which is right there. And I am so excited to let you guys know that I have finally put some money into actually developing this room and making it the ASMR studio that I have always wanted. I'm just so happy right now. Even the way that it looks right now, like looking into the camera, it's just, this is kind of, you guys remember that episode a while back, like months ago before I moved, where I was talking about like my office setup and my plan and everything. We're getting there. We are moving in the right direction. Now, don't judge too hard, because obviously right now, there's a lot of stuff that is still undeveloped. For example, this entire corner will look different probably by next week. Actually, I know for a fact it will look different by next week because I currently have a bookcase. I finally ordered a bookcase. I have a bookcase sitting on the front porch right now in a box that needs to be put together. And I have so much to tell you guys right now. I'm going to try not to get ahead of myself and to stay on track because, as you guys know, I am very bad at getting to the point and I sidetrack a lot. I think that's very common for most people, especially us ladies. For some reason, it's just stereotypically like not easy to stay on track. I hope you can't hear them playing with that toy out there. Hold on, let me shut the door a little bit. Can't shut the door all the way because they will start scratching at it trying to get in. But where was I? I have a bookcase in a box from Amazon sitting on the front porch that needs to be put together, and it came in an hour ago, maybe hour and a half ago, and I tried to drag it inside so that I could put it together, and it's too heavy. I literally cannot get it off the porch, which kudos to the lady that delivered it, because I saw her on the camera. I was at the DMV when it got delivered, and nobody was home. And I saw on our doorbell camera her dropping it off. Like, I got the notification that there was motion detected, so I clicked it because I knew it was coming in today. And I was watching her drop it off, and it looked heavy. I don't know how she got it up here because I can't even move it an inch. Like, I tried to like slide it toward the door. Can't move it at all. So I unfortunately do have to wait until I have some assistance later today to get that in the house so that I can get it put together and put in this corner. Now, I had a few different options that I was thinking about going with for this corner. I knew I wanted a bookshelf all along, like that was always my plan, but I've probably talked about this before. I thought about doing one shelf there because this is a corner right here, if you can see, and there's about 4 feet of open space on either side of this corner. So I thought about doing one like 3-foot wide bookcase right there and then one right here, but I don't know why it never crossed my mind that they make bookshelves that are made to go in corners. Duh. So I saw one on Walmart the other day. I was scrolling looking for one, and I just looked up like shelves, like bookshelves on Walmart, because I was like, I really want one today. The day that I was looking at it, I was like, I want one today. I'm tired of waiting. I'm gonna see if the Walmart around here or like any of the stores around here have anything in stock like at the location so I can go pick it up today because I didn't want to wait. And when I was scrolling, I didn't use the in-store filter because I'm stupid, but it ended up working out because I saw the corner bookshelf that I ended up getting, which I ended up ordering from Amazon instead because I found the exact same one on Amazon and I get free shipping on there. So now that I've taken forever to get to the point again, I got a corner bookshelf and it is very cute. It's about 2.5 feet wide on each side. So it'll be 2.5 feet wide on that side and 2.5 feet wide on this side, which will leave about a 1 to 1.5 foot gap between the edge of the curtains and the end of the bookshelf right here. So there's going to be a little gap right here where there's open space. So I was like, perfect. I can fill that open space with... Pinks, don't eat my coffee, please, or knock it over. A wall sconce, which is where this little baby comes in. Guys, I found this on Amazon. I ordered all of this stuff together at the same time, so that I could just get on with it because I'm tired of putting it off. Look how pretty this thing is. Hold on, let me turn it on. Isn't it so pretty? And it is gonna go between the bookshelf and the edge of the curtain. So somewhere around there. And I don't know if I'll be turning it on for podcasts. If the brightness isn't too high, then I will. Speaking of, I apologize for this window being so bright. It is literally the middle of the day. It's like noon right now or something. So there's a lot of sunlight coming through, but I didn't want to close the curtains all the way. I might have to close them a little more though, because it's getting bright. But y'all, isn't that freaking gorgeous? Oh, I just cannot wait. Look at Pink's looking at the shadows on the wall. I think I've told y'all before, he's like actually schizophrenic. Like, if there's any kind of light or shadows on the wall, he goes crazy and he will sit and stare at the wall for, I'm not joking, like literally not exaggerating, he'll sit there for an hour staring at the wall. I don't know why he's so crazy about it. Look, I'm gonna move it around a little bit and see if he looks up at it. Oh, he's looking in the corner under that. Look at him looking at the shadows. Oh. I love my Binky boy, he's so dumb. But, oh my gosh, y'all, I'm so excited for this wall sconce, and it plugs into the wall too, so it's pretty easy. But it also, the switch, there's one switch on the cord here, and there's one switch here, so you can use it like an actual lamp. Most wall sconces, the plug-in ones, only have the switch on the cable. Okay, well, you can't see it from here, but... And also, this cable is so pretty. Like, usually you have to hide the cables, which I was going to try to do, but, I mean, it's just like a pretty, like, gold rope. It's, like, wrapped in the fabric. I don't know. I think it looks really good. It doesn't really need to be covered up. But, yes, we are finally getting this place put together. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of like an orangey kind of glow on me right now, and that's because I got a new sunset lamp. I used to have a sunset lamp years ago that someone sent me from my Amazon wish list. Try to cover this up a little more. The curtains might not look so aesthetic, but I've got to get some of this light covered up. Now there's more light coming in over here. That'll do for now. Okay. Yeah, the curtains are not going to look so pretty and aesthetic, but let's just try to cover that light up for now. And I'm trying to figure out the camera setup too. I don't know exactly where I want it to sit. I just kind of like guessed for the moment. Make it a little darker. Because I don't really have a full set yet. So I just kind of put the camera somewhere that it would look okay and get me in the frame. But yeah, bookshelf will be here, sconce will be there. I've got the sunset lamp on, which I think casts a pretty hue. You can kind of see right here, this little circle. That's where it's sitting. If it was darker in here, it'd be a lot easier to see the orange light, but we've got that. This tree is just sitting here for now to fill the background. And then back here, this dark wood you're seeing, those are floating shelves that I have yet to put up anywhere. I ordered them so that I could put one up over my desk, maybe 2 of them. It came with 3. And then I'll have to figure out where I want the other one to go. And then this rolled up thing over here in the corner is a map. It's about 4 feet by 3 feet, I think. And it's a pretty cool looking map. So I need to find somewhere in there to hang that, or in here to hang that. But I'm running out of wall space. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But yeah. I'm so excited, you guys. You have no freaking idea. Like, I've been talking about this for forever, since before I even moved. And now it is finally starting to move in the right direction and come together. I think that bookshelf is going to do a lot for this room, especially for this corner where my podcast setup primarily is going to be. It'll also be in the background of my TikToks and my YouTube videos more, because I didn't really have like a nice place to set up my camera for my regular YouTube videos. So I've actually this past week I filmed the 2 videos that I posted in the guest bedroom because it's the most developed room in the house. And I really wanted to get that cozy, comfy feeling, But yeah, I also got up 2 YouTube videos and a podcast last week, so hold your applause, no big deal. I just, got up my videos that I'm supposed to be getting up every week last week. And I'm really trying to lock in, y'all. I'm really trying to lock in, get back on a regular schedule on YouTube. And full transparency here, TikTok is doing me dirty, and I'm kind of sick of it. Kind of getting sick of TikTok. I'm not going to go super in depth about it because I don't like complaining. But I'm kind of getting over TikTok. I'm tired of relying on it. I'm tired of the inconsistency. I talked about it a little bit 2 weeks ago, I think it was, in my car simulation video, my car simulation podcast. Just getting sick of it. Tired of relying on it. Tired of it being my main platform. And I really want to get YouTube going even more. And also, the thought of getting a play button, y'all, that has been my dream since childhood. I feel like I've talked about this before too. But I have always dreamed of having a play button. I think a lot of people my age have. Maybe even not even my age, maybe just people in general have dreamed of that. I think it's kind of fueled by like growing up watching YouTube as it was becoming big. Like I remember Shane Dawson was like one of my favorite creators to watch on YouTube growing up before all the scandals and whatnot. I always thought he was so funny. And I remember watching his I swear it was his diamond play button unboxing video, and it was so funny. And that's what I don't know why, that's what I think about anytime I think about a play button. And the idea of the fact that I could possibly have a play button within the next year, that does not feel real to me. It doesn't feel like it's me accomplishing that goal at all. Hey, Binks, quit. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to that. And I will use this as encouragement for all of you. If you have any desire to post on social media, for it to potentially become a career for you, or even just, a side hustle, or just a hobby. It doesn't have to be a career for you, and you don't have to do it for the money, and you don't have to do it for the followers or subscribers. But if you enjoy making videos, if you enjoy talking about your life, or making vlogs, or doing ASMR, just do it. I have a lot of friends that come to me after I tell them about my social media, which I don't tell people about my social media until I've become very close with them. I don't feel the need to talk about it. It's not my entire life. It is technically my career. And in today's society, being an adult, when you introduce yourself to someone, usually one of the first questions they ask is, what do you do for work? And so I have to say, social media or content. I usually say social media because there are people that work in social media that don't create their own content, that just they're an editor, or they run a social media page for a company or business or something. And so it kind of alludes to that. And if people don't ask any more in depth what I do, then for all they know, I run the page for the local gym or something. When I say I do social media. So I don't really like getting into it that much when people ask. But when I do have, my close friends or anybody that I'm talking to ask what I do, and I do end up going into more depth, the common response I get all the time, is, I just wish I could do that. I just wish I could. You are living my dream life. And then I'm like, no, like you should. Like you should do it. Just go on TikTok. TikTok is the way to go. If you want to start posting on social media, go on TikTok, do what you love to do, record it, lightly edit it, do a little voiceover maybe, put some captions on there, and post. And just post every day. If you want to grow, post every single day around the same time. And it's going to be discouraging for a little bit. You don't start something and become great at it the first day. I mean, that's just general rule for so many things in life. And it's the same on social media. If you want to start an ASMR page, for example, go on TikTok, create the page, come up with a username, put a cute little bio. It could even be like, just doing this on the side. And one thing about ASMR, when people post videos and the caption or the title on YouTube is my first ASMR video, for some reason, those do really well, especially on YouTube. I've noticed my first ASMR video usually does pretty well for a good bit of people. I see my first ASMR video on my YouTube suggestions all the time. And they'll have like 10 to 100,000 views. I mean, I'm not saying, obviously I can't guarantee that's going to happen for you, but it does happen for a lot of people, a surprising amount. But post every day. If you like making vlogs, if you like making day in my life, if you like making get ready with me, just post it. Worst thing that happens is you get a few views and it doesn't grow that fast. That is the worst. You are not losing money. You are not losing anything. You are barely losing any time. And I wouldn't even consider it losing time if it's something that you enjoy doing. And that was kind of how I started my ASMR page. I get asked all the time why I started doing ASMR, and it's just because I liked it. I just liked watching ASMR. I don't remember exactly what my thoughts were, what my train of thought was, what my plan was, what my motivation was. I just know that I liked ASMR, and I found myself tapping on things all the time. Like I would be sitting, it was my freshman year of college, I would be sitting in class and sorry if you can hear the cats, they're fighting out there. I would be tapping on stuff all the time, scratching stuff, and I would be like, I've really started liking watching ASMR. I think I'm just gonna make a page and just post it. I've always been into making videos growing up. As a child, you can ask my family, my friends, all we would do was make movies and TV shows on my iPad mini and iMovie. We would record ourselves. We would do special effects apps and stuff. We would use the reverse video app, and we would make all these different kinds of TV shows and movies and stuff. I wasn't allowed to have a YouTube, so I didn't ever post them anywhere. But Seven Supergirls was one of my favorite channels, and we would like to make videos like them. There were other channels I remember I would watch when I was younger, 8 to 11 years old, probably 8 to 12, maybe right before middle school, all the way through elementary school. I would watch all of these different channels on YouTube, and it was just I loved it. I wanted to be one of those people so bad, and I would make vlogs when my family would go on beach trips. I still have them saved somewhere. I would literally make vlogs of our beach trips on iMovie, edit them with music and all kinds of stuff, and I just found so much joy in it, and I got nothing out of it except for my own joy. And so I think that the beginning of my ASMR page kind of sparked from that, and also the fact that I liked ASMR. And oh my gosh, Butters is screaming out there. I'm so sorry if you can hear her, but they are fighting and she's yelling at him. Banks drives her insane sometimes. He will literally just chase her around and swat at her and try to play with her, and she does not like it at all. But yeah, I liked doing it, and so I started it, and I didn't have any expectations of making money. I didn't have any expectations of blowing up or going viral. That wasn't my goal at all. I just enjoyed it, and so I just posted it, and then I got very lucky, and I did grow, and I did start making money, and I was able to eventually, within a few years, turn it into my career. So yeah, just do it, guys. Like, just do it. When I tell people that, they're like, yeah, I guess I should, and then they never do. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, I get it. People feel like they don't have time for extra things like that, and, whatever, and this and that. But if you really have that passion, if you truly enjoy it, and you could see yourself doing this as a career, post a 1-minute video on TikTok every day. I promise you, it takes 10 minutes to create a video like that, especially ASMR. You don't even have to have a fancy microphone. You don't. I did make the investment and spend $100 on a Blue Yeti when I started my TikTok. But there are so many pages that do sell well with either the Apple earbud microphone. You guys know what I'm talking about. They'll use the Apple earbuds, and they'll like tape it down and then just do ASMR with it, because that microphone actually makes pretty good ASMR. And then people will also do it with just their phone, like lo-fi ASMR with your phone. Turns out pretty dang good. Okay, well, that took way longer than expected, and also I talked about that for way longer than I expected. They were literally going crazy, like tearing each other to shreds. He was actually tearing her to shreds, but you know what I mean. So I had to rescue her, but she was hiding from me, so I had to chase her around the house. Anyways, I'm gonna move on, because I talked about that for forever. But chase your dreams, post once a day. You could get something really cool out of it, like this. You could eventually get a play button. Pink's is trying to break in here. Okay, what else did I want to talk about today? I wanted to talk about, sir, you better not bother us. We're chilling. We're trying to podcast. National Coffee Day! Happy National Coffee Day, everyone. If you know me, you know I'm a big crazy coffee enthusiast. So today, I went by 7 Brew on my way to the DMV, and I got a large iced blondie, basic as it gets, from 7 Brew. And a large does in fact come with 4 shots of espresso. And when I got home, right before this podcast actually, I added a 5th shot of espresso because it was too sweet. So if I finish this, I will have had 5 shots of espresso today. And I'm kind of running on pure adrenaline and caffeine. I'm surprised that I've kept my cool for this long, because before I started recording the podcast today, my brain was just going, like racing thoughts, lots and lots of energy. 1, because I was very excited about my bookshelf getting here, and 2, because when I went to the DMV today, I did in fact get my motorcycle license put on my actual license, so I could get on the main roads. I could get on the highway here. And I didn't necessarily plan to get on the highway today, but due to my little coffee and my excitement about the bookshelf being delivered, and the fact that I got my motorcycle license done today, and that I could get on the highway, when I was driving back in here, I was like looking around the highway before I turned into the neighborhood, and I was like, I could drive on this. I could ride the motorcycle on this. So I got really excited in the car, like literally was like squealing to myself out loud, and was like, oh yeah, I can do that today. I can do that. So as soon as I got home, I went and put my coffee in the fridge, And first thing I did was put on my jacket, put on my helmet and my gloves, and I took my motorcycle out and I got on the highway. And it was freaking awesome. But it was also very nerve-wracking. And I was very wary. I don't know if wary is the right term. I was paranoid a little bit, I guess. And I was like tweaking a little bit, but I was very locked in. I was like, I don't know how to describe it, but it was very exciting and also very like scary at the same time. But it was pretty cool. I was way more nervous before I actually got on the highway. But once I actually got on there, I would just kind of locked in. Like, I low-key blacked out. Why am I speaking like a 12-year-old? Low-key, I locked in, but also I was tweaking. But I was. Like, that's the truth. I locked in as soon as I pulled out on the highway. And I ended up having to get up to 4th gear, which I'd never done before. But I was in 3rd gear going like 45 or 50. Butters, I don't want you to go out there and start getting, like, bothered by him again. So please just stay here for a little bit. And my bike felt like it was struggling, and my RPMs were at like 10,000. And usually I shift around the 7,000 or 8,000 mark. And so I was like, screw it. I'm going up to 4th gear. We'll see what happens. And this was my first time on the highway. And I was like, I just feel like I need to get to 4th gear. So I shifted up to 4th. And I went down to the other side of my neighborhood, turned right onto the highway, and then turned right back into the neighborhood a little further down. It's a pretty short, like, strip of the highway that I got on, but that was my plan for the first time I was getting on the highway for a long time. I was like, okay, I can pull out of the neighborhood on this side, turn right onto the highway, go down the highway a little bit, and then turn right back into the neighborhood. And I did it. I got up to 55. The first time that I went out there today, it was the easiest it could have possibly been. There were no cars behind me when I was waiting to pull out, and there were no cars, like, there was a very, very large gap between cars on the highway for me to pull out. I mean, basically so large that I could not see. There were no cars coming when I pulled out. And so I got very lucky. There was no one around me, and pulled out, got out there, decided to shift up to 4th. And then the hardest part about it was slowing down and shifting back down to 2nd before I turned, because I'm also trying to get in the habit of using my front brake just a little bit so that my brake lights will turn on while I'm slowing down. And so I'm having to think about roll off the throttle, pull in the clutch, shift down, roll in the throttle a little bit so that I can get going in 3rd, all at the same time while kind of holding my front brake just a little bit so that my brake lights will turn on, but also so I don't slow down too much. And then going in 3rd for a little bit and then shifting down to 2nd. I needed to learn to rev match. I think that would solve a lot of my issues that I had today. Overall, not that dang bad. It's just the downshifting that I was struggling with, and trying to make sure that I set my brake lights off so that people behind me will know that I'm slowing down. I've ridden around the neighborhood once with my boyfriend in the past few weeks, and he rode behind me, and he told me that the only thing that I really need to work on right now is doing that, because there were multiple times, I mean, we were going maybe 25 miles an hour. That's the speed limit in the neighborhood. Most of the time we were probably going slower than that because there's a lot of stop signs and a lot of places to stop. And hello, are you mad at me? I don't care. He told me there were multiple times he almost hit me because my brake lights weren't, I wasn't using my brakes until like the last second before I stopped. I was just using engine braking to slow down and trying to focus on shifting down to 1st before I came to a complete stop. And because of that, again, my brake lights weren't turning on, and he almost hit me a couple times in the neighborhood. So being out on the highway, slowing down from 55 to like 10 to make a turn, probably even less than that, I need to make sure my brake lights are turning on so that people behind me don't freaking hit me. It's hard enough to see a motorcycle already, and then if I don't have any brake lights turning on while I'm engine braking, You guys get the point. I'm talking in circles. But yeah, and then the second time, I was sitting at the stop sign to turn onto the highway. Banks, do not scratch that. He is being ridiculous right now. A car pulled up behind me at the stop sign while I was waiting to turn onto the highway, and there were a lot of cars coming on the highway, and I was like, shoot. Like, of course. The second time I go on the highway, there's a car behind me waiting, and there's also a bunch of people going on the highway, and I didn't want to sit there forever and make the car wait. So I was like, okay, there's a decently sized gap, like a gap that I would feel comfortable pulling out into in my car. But also, I just hate the idea of pulling out in front of somebody on my motorcycle. But I was like, I'm just going to send it. I'm just going to freaking send it. Speed up as fast as I can. Hope that it goes well. And I did. And I sped up pretty fast. Thankfully, I've gotten really good at shifting. I make some really good clean shifts. It's not even, like, I don't even have to think about it anymore. It's kind of getting to that point where it's become second nature. And I sped up, got into fourth gear pretty quick, and the truck that was behind me when I pulled out, or after I pulled out, the one that was coming up in the right lane, ended up passing me, which was fine. All worked out. But I will say, the guy that I bought the motorcycle from installed the Rizomo mirrors, Rizoma, something like that. The really thin, basically pointless mirrors. I mean, they literally do not even stand up straight for some reason. I can't, they're unusable, basically. They're just there so that you legally have mirrors on your motorcycle because you have to. You are legally required to. But they are completely useless. They don't work at all. You can't see behind you at all. And I could have used those because when I was slowing down, I really wanted to know if there was someone directly behind me. And I had my jacket and my helmet on, and with my jacket and my helmet, it becomes very restrictive, and it's hard to turn my head enough to see if there's someone directly behind me. I can look enough to see if there's someone in my blind spot in the other lane, but I can't turn my head enough to see if there's someone behind me without feeling like I'm turning my body so much that my bike is gonna go over, you know? So I need some dang mirrors. I need to put some freaking stock mirrors on there. I don't even care if they're ugly. Y'all better not fight. Y'all better be done fighting. Banks, get that look off your face. He's staring at her since she just got down. But I did it. I got on the highway and it wasn't that bad. It was stressful the second time, I will say, because I was pulling out so quickly and in a smaller gap. And because I didn't know if there was someone behind me when I was slowing down, so I was really trying to make sure I was setting off my brake lights, and then I was struggling to shift down, and it was a whole thing, but I made it fine. And I'm getting there. I have been on the highway. I've been out of the neighborhood, and I will take it. It was very fun, but it was stressful. But I have no doubt that I will get used to it fairly quickly and be able to get on some other roads. All right. There were other things that I wanted to talk about. Oh my gosh. I know I wrote down oh my gosh. I went to a neon rave. So this past weekend, I had some friends in town, and they're friends from college. They're a little bit younger than me, though. They're 20. They'll be 21 within the next year. Obviously, they're 20. And they cannot get into really any of the bars that are within the vicinity of where I live, because they're all 21 plus, which is not the case in Tuscaloosa, which is where I went to college and where they are now. They haven't graduated yet, obviously. And so they're used to getting into bars, but here they just can't. And I don't really want to go to a bunch of bars and try to have them let them in and it be a whole thing and them not be able to get in anywhere. So, a few weeks ago, when they told me they were going to come down this past weekend, saw on Instagram that there was a neon rave event in Pensacola, which is a little while away from here. Not too far though. It was less than an hour drive, I think. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting tickets for that and we're going, because that's our type of event. And I've always wanted to go to a rave. Like it said, like the whole thing was like they're gonna have multiple DJs, there's gonna be black lights everywhere, dress up in neon, you're gonna glow, like there's gonna be super cool drinks, and it's gonna be all EDM. Like it's gonna be all EDM. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to that, because I have always been a huge EDM fan. I remember when I was like 10 to 12, my mom signed me up for guitar lessons with one of our friends from church. He was like a youth leader at church, and she signed me up for guitar lessons with him, and I only went like once or twice. And I think my first lesson, I walked in there and he was like, okay, so what kind of music do you like to listen to? And I was like, EDM. Like, are you kidding me? I freaking told this guy that I like EDM. Anyways, I did. I used to listen to EDM a lot. Like, if I could pull up my iPhone 4 and show you the songs that I bought on iTunes when you used to have to buy individual songs for like $1.20 each. It was like $1.29 or something per song. It was like, oh my gosh, the one that I can remember is I Can't Stop. I don't know if that's technically like dubstep or something. I don't know. It's like a headbanging song. I Can't Stop EDM song. Flux Pavilion, I Can't Stop. What EDM subgenre is I Can't Stop Flux Pavilion? It's dubstep. Dude, I was so into dubstep. Like, I didn't even care about like house music or anything back then. Dubstep and techno, that was my shiz. It was. And I'm still kind of into it. I'm definitely more into house music now, but dubstep and techno have always had a special place in my heart. And obviously no bars anywhere play freaking dubstep or techno. They just play like Drake, which I'm cool with. I love Drake. But sometimes at a bar, like, I want a little headbang action. I want a little dub. You know, I want some. So, I sure did get some dubstep and techno at this rave. But let me tell y'all, I do not want to go to a rave again anytime in the near future. Because the crowd that was there, it literally felt like I was at a middle school dance. I cannot even lie to you right now. It was 18 plus. They did not check IDs at the door, and they did not check IDs at the bar. There were probably 15-year-olds in there, and they could have been buying alcohol, and I did see what looked like illegal substances in people's hands. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't what I thought it was. There was some sketchy stuff there, and I cannot say that I was into it. I felt very unsafe. I also felt very out of place. I felt like there were also a lot of people there that were very underage. And the crowd was just weird. Now, let me preface this by saying, this is not hate. There were furries in their fursuits there, y'all. There were furries there. I literally got videos of furries at the neon rave. I've never seen a furry in real life, ever. And I remember it was one of the first people I saw when I walked in. We walked in, and first of all, it was like almost empty when we walked in. And we showed up an hour after it started because I was like, I'm not showing up when it starts because there's not going to be a single soul there. There was a furry in the parking lot on the way in. This furry, well, I don't know if they're even considered a furry, but it was a person with a tail and ears in the parking lot when I was walking in, and I was like, okay, we've got a diverse crowd here. And then when I walked in, when they didn't check my ID, there was someone in a complete fursuit. There was someone with a TV on their head. I'll show you the picture. There was a guy with a TV on his head. Me and my friend got a picture with him. But we, within the first 5 minutes of walking in, were plotting our escape. Like what? There were people walking around without shirts on. There was a girl with literally like a bikini, and like it was all the way up her butt. Like, I'm not joking, y'all. This was not, I don't know what I expected. I guess I'm just like dumb and didn't expect ravey outfits at this like rave, because it was in an event center. Like, it wasn't like an outdoor like big stage, multiple artists, it wasn't like a festival. It was like a party. I don't know what I expected, but I felt a little weird there, and I felt kind of gross when I left. Like, I felt dirty and like, I shouldn't have been there. Like, there was sketchy stuff going on. There was probably underage people there. Almost guaranteed. They literally did not check IDs at the door. I mean, my friend, when we were walking in there, my friend, he literally was like, oh yeah, I'm under 21. Do you need to see my ID? Like, he said that to the girl that was like checking our tickets when we were walking in. And she was like, nope, I'm just gonna stamp your hand and you can go in. But there were, oh my gosh, the music was so loud too. When I walked out, I mean, usually when you walk out of a bar that's like got a DJ and they're bumping music, you walk out, your ears are ringing, you feel a little bit like, ugh. I have never walked out of a place and my ears hurt so bad. I literally was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going deaf from this. Like, this is painful, and I'm like actually scared for the permanent damage this has caused to my hearing. It was so loud. And the first DJ was horrible. Second DJ was pretty good. Third DJ was like all dubstep and techno. We stayed till about midnight. So we were there. Oh, we were only there for 2 hours. It felt way longer than that, because I was also like essentially sober. We had my friend, one of our friends DD'd, and then me and my girlfriend, I had probably a drink and a half before we left, because we only had an hour to get ready. So I had a shot of whiskey, and then I had a whiskey and Coke, but I only drank half of the whiskey and Coke. So yeah, I had about a drink and a half, which I was like slightly buzzed before I walked out the door. And then we got there, and it was almost an hour drive, and so I was essentially like mentally sober, it felt like, and walked in. And then during our time there, only bought one drink for each of us, and I ordered a lemon drop shot, and he poured it in a cup with ice. So when I tried to take the shot, I couldn't take it as a shot. And also, I was told afterward that lemon drops are supposed to be not cold. And then also the shots were $12 each. What? $12 each. So yeah, only bought one drink while I was there. Was essentially sober the whole time, which really opens your eyes to a lot of things. And the crowd was just interesting. Not even the furries. Like, the furries, I didn't see the furries after like the second that I walked in. It was just the rest of the people there. Like, you could tell that They were probably there because they couldn't get into any bars. And the men were like kind of creepy, and the girls were like dressed very inappropriately in a way that made me uncomfortable. But I did get some headbanging done with a few other people that were headbanging, and that was probably the best part of it, because I've always wanted to do that. Anyways, that was a pretty disappointing rave, and now they're fighting again. Now I don't think I could ever go to a festival, because I was exhausted and ready to leave within 2 hours. Within an hour and a half, I was exhausted and ready to leave. And I could not imagine spending 3 days sleeping in dirt, standing in the heat and the sun all day long with minimal water, no AC, bad food, no showers, long hikes between the different stages, and blasting EDM for days. Like, that does not sound fun to me anymore. I always wanted to experience that, and that was why I was so excited for this rave. Maybe I just got a bad experience. I don't know. But I have tickets to Zach Top concert. I don't know if I told you guys that. I don't think I did last week because I was so focused on Turnstile, which I will get back to Turnstile eventually. I will talk more in depth about it, but I just didn't. There's a lot of other stuff to worry about today. I do have tickets to a Zach Top concert. I bought them probably a week and a half ago or something, and I got floor seats. I got general admission, so I will be pretty close to the stage. Me and my friend are going. I'm the same friend that I went to the rave with. Stop scratching that, please. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. The only celebrity that the only concert I've really been to is Billy. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I went to a Christian concert in 7th grade. And I think that was my first and only concert other than Billy, yeah. Oh no, I went to Gorillaz a couple of years ago. And I went to Melanie Martinez. Okay, I've went to a few more concerts. But I was pretty close to, I can't remember his name. Lead singer of Gorillaz. Can't remember his name. Was pretty close to him. And Melanie Martinez, I was pretty far back in the crowd. I've never bought anything except for general admission tickets to a concert. Like, if I'm going to go see them in person, I want to be close enough that I can actually see their face. I don't want to be, like, way back in the seats where I have to watch the screens. What? Why would I do that? At that point, I'll just watch a video on my phone. So, I always go in, spend the extra money, because I'm spending the seat tickets usually aren't even that much less expensive than floor seats. It was probably like a $50 difference. So I went in, got the floor seats, and it is in 2.5 weeks. Y'all, I cannot, oh my gosh. And now every time I listen to his song, or like I'll see him on Instagram or whatever, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to see him in person. I'm going to see Zach Top in person. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to the Brandon, Mississippi show, so if there is any chance that anyone watching this is going, please let me know. Please let me know. I would love to see you and jam out to some Zach Top with you. Oh my gosh, I can't. I'm so excited. I actually completely forgot about that. But I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. I feel like there were more things that I had thought about talking about, but I didn't even plan on talking about that whole like social media thing, and then I just went on a rant for like 20 minutes or something, so apologies. But seriously guys, if you want to do it, then just do it. The worst thing that could come out of it is you waste some time. But if you truly enjoy doing it, even if you don't get that many views, so what? You enjoyed doing it. You just did something fun. I don't know. Just do it. You never know what could come from it. I never expected this to be my life. And now I am halfway to a play button on YouTube. Anyways, that is all. Thank you so much for listening, for hanging out. Let me know your thoughts on the setup and the development and the plans that I have shared. Any suggestions, I would absolutely love to hear. I have changed what my ideas were a few times. Oh, and I didn't even mention, I talked about the curtains some, but we finally got curtains, y'all. Finally got curtains. How nice is that? I steamed them yesterday, but they've still got some wrinkles in them. Okay, I love you all so much. Again, thank you for listening to me absolutely just ramble and talk in circles. And I will see you Wednesday for an ASMR video, because we're getting back on track, YouTube. We are so back. And also, I would like to start making members only videos soon, so if you guys are interested in that, let me know. They would probably have no ads. I don't know exactly how the memberships work, but I'm thinking about doing one regular video and then one members only video per week, or something along those lines. Maybe stick to 2 normal videos and do an extra little members only video. I don't know. We'll see. That's all. I'm gonna stop talking because I'll talk about nothing for forever. So love you. See you soon.